The What's Your Craft Show, quenching your thirst for inspiration. Let's get inspired.
All right. Well, I think we're all rolling. Should we crack a beer?
Let's crack a beer.
All right.
We'll
Who wants what?
Here.
Yeah, you guys go after.
We got some Owl, some Trinity, and seasonal brown ale here. The D's nuts, of course.
Straight for the nuts.
All right.
Not a bad idea. We got some more down in there deep.
Get a good crack here.
I'll go with an Owl since it's on top. Yeah.
That's pretty good. Okay, well, welcome to the What's Your Craft Show. We're trying to start something cool here. I'm Peter Monti, one of the co-founders of Beards Brewery. We got Steve Bartell, our artist in residence. And then today we're talking to the Michigan Rattlers, which is pretty awesome. They've performed at the pub some. They've been performing all over. You've got accolades. You opened for Bob Seger, all kinds of cool stuff. So I'm going to let each of you guys kind of introduce yourselves, and then we'll get rolling.
Yeah, since we're going to be doing this in audio as well, if you just want to say your name and anything else you'd like to say, just say hello, I guess, huh?
Hello, first of all. My name's Tony Audia, and I play drums in the band.
Hey, what's up? I'm Christian Wilder. I play keys in the band.
Hey, I'm Graham Young. I sing and play guitar.
I'm Adam Reed, and I play the bass.
Awesome. Well, it's great to have you guys today. We had a few questions for you.
Sounds good.
Let me get my iPad out here.
Man, it sounds like more than a few.
Oh, no.
No, just a couple. Just handwritten on there.
Steve's got had a couple of cool ones, I thought. So, and then we're gonna kind of be open to wherever it goes. So if you guys got ideas, so this show is kind of around like creativity, like how people got into what they do, what got them excited about what they do. So one thing Steve I thought phrased this really well is like, who do you feel growing up gave you permission to be creative? Because a lot of times you find people trying to say, well, you can't do that, right?
Well, I mean, like, you know, I came up with that because, like, you know, like parents are a big one a lot of time, or somebody that you really look up to and stuff. Like, I had a father that was a factory worker, for instance, right? And he was pitching to me, even though I was a good artist early on, he was pitching to me, you know, well, I can get you into the factory, and you work this many hours, you make this amount of money, and you buy a house, you know. So he was somebody that wasn't giving me permission. So that's what I mean by it is I had a grandfather who was a painter, a photographer, had a lot of artist friends, took me to plays, took me to museums, took me to art shows, you know. And he was the first one that was like at a young age said, no, this is legitimate. You can actually do something, you know, with your talents, and you don't have to like clock in, clock out, and work for somebody else, you know. So my question is, at what point in life do you feel like somebody like basically released you and gave you the okay? And maybe that didn't happen for all of you, but I know for a lot of my creative friends, that's a big part of the foundation is having that person you look up to in life say, yeah, grab your bass, go play, chase your dreams, you know. Anything stick out for any of you guys?
We got pond in that place.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it's hard.
Deep, that's a great question. Well, there could be more than one too, you know. Like my mother did it for me later in life. You know, she was kind of, you know, didn't get out much in the world, I guess, for lack of a better term. So she didn't have a great view of all the different things you could do with the skill of, you know, being an artist, a visual artist. But as we got older, then she saw the things I was doing. She was like, okay, I see what you're chasing. Go chase it. Be you.
I think for me, I was fortunate that creativity was like very pushed and welcomed, like early on, like childbirth onwards and stuff. My dad plays the piano. He played a lot of instruments, and like from growing up, is like he was always playing music in the house and stuff, you know. And it was always encouraged when I was around. And then I think that encouragement kind of started, I didn't realize at the time because I was like 6 years old through, it was like forced encouragement, right? Like I think starting the piano, like every person that's ever played the piano ever, they didn't pick it themselves. Their parents or someone else forced them into it. And I didn't, I think initially I was like, they were like, we're going to start you in piano lessons. And I was like, no, I want to play guitar.
Yeah.
I like rock music. They're like, well, do this for a couple years. If you don't like it, you can switch later. And then I think I kind of just forgot about that. And just like kept it going. But it was always encouraged early on. Even growing up, I would ask for different music related items for like Christmas and stuff, and
Right.
parents were always like more than happy to oblige. I think they were just pumped I wasn't asking for like airsoft.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I got
Stuff
drafting
like-
boards and things like that myself.
Yeah,
when I was
they're like,
young, yeah.
really? You're asking for instruments? You don't want this toy? What's
Yeah.
going on? It's like,
So your father was a musician then as well?
Yeah, he well, even before my father, my grandmother before him, she played
wow.
piano like in church.
Okay.
So that's how he got started in piano. And then, but the light bulb opened by watching my dad play the piano, because when you take piano lessons, 99% of the time you go with like a teacher, and you're learning scales, and all that shit, and you're learning how to read music and stuff, and it's like there's this disconnect that happens between what you're learning and then you hear stuff on the radio with the piano and stuff. I think for the longest time I'd be like, where did they get the music to read to play that?
Right.
And then I would come home and watch my dad, and he'd be sitting there and he'd be playing, and he wouldn't be reading any music, and I'd be like, where did you learn? Like, what do you do? He's like, I don't know, I'm just playing.
Right.
And then it wasn't until later that kind of clicked on, and it's like, oh, this is something I can just do.
Very cool. Yeah. Well, that makes a lot of sense. It's like third generation of pianists in the family then, huh?
I think there's definitely a leap in all creative forms, from taking where you are good at copying to then not everybody takes that next leap to being good at creating.
Right.
You know, it's like, and I think there's fun in both things. I think a lot of people enjoy like just playing covers because they enjoy playing the music, but they're not as creatively inclined to like come up with stuff. But I think that's a huge leap for a creative person to take that, like branching out and starting to make your own stuff with it, what you've learned.
For sure. Well, that's the confidence. That's
Right.
kind of the permission then, right?
Yeah.
I'm not copying what I've seen. I'm creating freely.
Yeah, yeah, and that there's value to creating new things, you know, and not just like doing what someone else did well. Because sometimes I think that's a rut you can get stuck in, or people in your life can be like, well, I mean, you're not really, like, you can't write music like that guy, or, you know, it's like you're fine at playing it.
That's what I mean.
But, yeah.
The world's filled with what's the point.
Yeah. So I really liked Steve's question when he mentioned that.
Adam,
earlier.
does anything stick out in your mind?
Christian and I had the same piano teacher.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's actually how we met.
Okay.
And I remember this one time, it was my last piano recital, and I was checked out. My parents said I didn't have to do it anymore.
Gotcha.
And Christian was going strong, really playing the piano.
Uh-huh.
We had a duet in that recital, and I just fucked it up. Can I swear on here?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Be authentic.
I like
We're like, we're bowing down. I'm like, sorry. 'Cause I was making shit up.
That was my first year taking piano lessons with it too. So that's how I met Adam Reed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So that's beginning of your relationship. Yeah.
Yeah.
Graham and I had the same guitar teacher.
Yeah.
So both those teachers are in town, great teachers. Chris Corey
In Petoskey.
he plays around town.
Yeah.
He showed us some just basic scales and blues scales, and then I remember one time it's like, so what do you do with it? And he's like, whatever you want, man.
Right. It's so freeing, right?
Oh.
No rules is the best part of art to me.
Yeah.
That's what I always like. I play a noodle around on guitar, but when I started playing, that's what I was always. I just played scales, and then I would start playing in church, and I'd just play, like people would be playing, which are really basic songs. So then I would just play whatever scales I knew over top of it.
Yeah.
It's like it's fun to just go with it. Like, what do you want to do with it? Whatever, you know. I get in there and play.
Chris was always really good at the lesson was kind of set up where you just kind of come in with a song and be like, I want to learn how to play this song, and then we kind of learn the foundation and the fundamentals of it. But I always remember with the solos in these songs, Chris was always he would kind of teach you the solo, but mostly just kind of show you what they were using.
Yeah.
How they put it
How
together.
they got
You
there.
know, and so this is, you could learn it note for note, or I could just show you the scales and some of the licks they're doing, and then you can just
Explore.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which I
That's
think
cool.
That's, pretty.
That's freeing.
What was
Yeah.
the first song you brought into lyrics?
Day one, Highway to Hell.
Really? That was your first song?
Coming out the gates swinging.
I like it.
Learn this.
Well, that's a lot of times how it starts. It's like you find something that you like so much. You're like, I want to do
So
that.
you dive in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's the inspiration.
Tony, you got anything that sticks out?
No, but yeah. I guess like in college there was like for all I went for music education, I guess,
Mhm.
but there was definitely an emphasis on performance too at the same time. However, with that, there was a lot of like, all right, we're gonna get to our goal this way and this way only.
Mm.
I know, like, I don't really think that's very helpful because there's so many tools out there to become creative,
Sure.
especially like if you're trying to achieve a goal. Like, how are we gonna get there? Multiple paths.
Sure.
So as soon as I left school and I was talking to tons of other musicians and just friends and just realizing, no, it's not a very healthy mentality, I think, when approaching like music in general.
Mhm.
Like, go out and explore what you can do. And if you work on it, it's like a muscle, like I love working out. Creativity, I think, is the same thing. I express it through drums, and I'm still exploring that, I think.
Excellent.
I think there's helpful takeaways you can take though from like going through like a system where there's like a rigidity involved.
Right.
Because once you realize the limits of that system, you can apply certain like values, like attacking something with a lot of energy and a lot of hard work to it, and you can apply that just like to creatively. You can just viciously attack,
Absolutely.
like when we're like cycling through a song or something like that, and be like, okay, we played it this way, that felt good. Let's go and play it a totally different way now.
Right.
And it's like not just be satisfied. It's like, oh, we created this thing. And it's
Yeah.
kind of going.
Yeah. That's funny you say that. It's like, I know, Adam, I know you paint and stuff. So like, it's funny with art sometimes, like you don't know when to stop.
Oh god.
Actually, you don't know when it should be wrapped up.
Right.
I've never really experienced it with songwriting or anything, so I'm sure that's totally different.
If you take that all the way back around, you kind of have to give yourself the license to make something.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
different.
Yeah.
And
You're
that's sort of the hardest step for a lot of people.
You
I
get that
think
little,
probably
everybody,
for
we
us.
all have that little voice in our head, right? That
Oh,
says like,
yeah.
oh, you're not supposed to be up here. You're fooling somebody, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
And that
Totally.
first time, sometimes you create something that's cool, and then you're scared, like, can I make it as cool or better? Like, you're scared to mess with it because what if you make it worse?
Yeah. You're scared to go back
But
and
you
try
got to
it again.
keep playing with it and
Yeah.
tweaking. It's like even when we were looking at some photos we had taken, and I sent you like 5 versions. I was like, oh, we could go this way or that way or this way. But
Gotta
it's
go one way.
yeah, you
One
got
way
to
at a time,
eventually
I guess,
pick a
right?
way, but like it's also easy to pick one way and then not try any of the others because you're afraid you're just, well, it's good enough.
Right. Yeah, you hit on something and you want to cookie cutter it, but
Okay, well, that's good. On a little different vein, we thought what would be fun is to ask if you could make any beer, what beer would it be? So not beer specific, like what, but like if you had ideas for a beer, right? Like
That's
here's
a
my ideas. Like I
broad
like
question,
this
but-
style, and I put this kind of thing in it, and I do, just a fun like exercise in beer creativity, because that's what we do.
Yeah, that's one of our strengths.
I think we do pretty okay with it.
Yeah, they do. I don't make any of the beer, but our brewers are fantastic.
Can confirm.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Good.
Good. I don't know. I think mine would probably just be some kind of lager. Just because that's what I drink the most, and I like beer that I can drink
Yeah.
first and foremost, Yeah. Other than that, I don't really know what I would do to make it stand out from the rest of the pack, but it'd be somewhere.
We talk a lot about balance.
Somewhere
I
along
think finding a beer that, like what you said right there, that you can just drink, and
Yeah.
enjoy drinking a 6-pack of, something we talk a lot about. Why we don't do a lot of incredibly extreme, crazy ingredient beers is because we like everybody has a little different style that's right for them in that vein. But for us, it's finding something that is focusing on the core ingredients and making it really good with that.
So I can drink more than just one
Right.
at a time. Sometimes.
Sometimes.
You're
brewing.
Brewing in your head. Well,
I
just
love
do
it.
it. Make it like gun to the head type situation where you just got to
Okay.
make a choice.
So, yeah, we
Pick one.
definitely-
Obviously, there's a plethora that you might enjoy.
I
but-
like the like not stout dark, but I like the mid like more amber brown ales as
Yeah, the D's.
Yeah, the D's nuts.
Mine would absolutely be something of like that color, kind of caramely,
Okay.
kind of nutty. Something
You'd make D's nuts then,
I would,
basically.
I would basically make
That would,
these
yeah.
nuts.
That would. Let's relabel it
To
for
be
you.
completely honest.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, we helped you with it, and we
Yeah.
made it for you.
I'm just gonna start making my own cans and then buy up all your drinks.
There you go.
And just pour it into the new.
There you go.
I want to do an IPA.
Nice.
Yeah, something nice and tangy and bitey and leaves that must on your tongue. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
You're like
I want it all.
An extra like dank IPA. Then.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So there's good hop varieties. You can like go more that route. You can go more citrusy. You can go more tropical. So that's part of the fun is like playing with all the options you have out there and finding blends that are good.
You want like the T-bone steak of IPA.
Exactly. You know it.
Thick.
Big, real meaty.
Robust and thick for sure. There you go.
You got to put this thing in the broiler to cook it all the way through.
Exactly.
How about you, Adam?
I like really cold beer.
Really cool.
That's achievable. That's a good.
It's cold. I don't know. Some of the best beers I ever had were in Brazil. They do this thing with this cooler where this 40 size bottle sits in a cooler and you drink little cups of ice cold beer. And
Like
the
it's
beer
not
is
spout.
terrible, but it doesn't matter
Because it's so cold.
because it's so cold.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
refreshing.
No, that's part of it. Like really cold things, your flavor receptors can't perceive as well. So I always yeah it's okay
Yeah.
as long
Well,
as
that's
it's
like the
cold.
beach.
I'm not saying some breweries have built a marketing campaign around
No,
how
no,
cold
yeah.
their beer is. I'm
I
just
understand. Hot sun
No.
on the beach, I can drink about it.
But I've enjoyed
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
enjoyed like every beer I've ever had.
Okay.
I'm not
I
picky.
think when I was like 19, I had like my first like skunked beer one time. I really did not enjoy that
Yeah.
one, but I was like too naive to realize
That was in
like,
Canada.
that's what was
Well,
going
you
on.
can't waste it if you're 19.
I know. I was
Right.
Just, like, so
You were
stoked
forced
I, like,
into
had
it.
beer, like, in my room. And then I was like, this is not good. And then I realized much later, I was like, oh, that's what beer tastes like when it's bad.
Yeah. That can happen too. Well, we just thought that was a fun one. So thanks for indulging us with the.
Well, so that's one of our crafts, and then obviously your craft is music and stuff. So you guys have recently been working on new material for a new album, right?
Yeah.
I think we just wanted to touch a little bit on your creative process, considering that's a big basis of this show is how the wheels turn and stuff. So I don't know if you guys want to touch a little bit on how you go about crafting a song.
Yeah, I mean, I think usually it starts just kind of me coming up with the basis of chords and lyrics and
We'll drive by.
We'll drive by. Sometimes when you're sitting in a field, that happens.
Farm trucking every now and then. Will come on.
Man, this is turning into a GNC commercial really fast.
All right, sorry, Graham. What were you saying?
Yeah, so I guess all the songs kind of start with me, just kind of with an acoustic guitar and just finding the chords and melody and writing lyrics and kind of doing it that way, and then bringing it to the guys and kind of all arrange it together and make it a full band thing.
All right.
Do you have like you come up with lyrics a lot of times first, or is it more like together? You're really working it with your guitar.
Usually together.
Okay.
Yeah, it usually kind of comes, and you kind of touch on certain phrasing, which kind of
like musically or like word
rhythmically,
yeah,
strumming through some chords and then kind of humming a melody together,
Right.
and kind of finding the phrasing through that, and then through that, you kind of thinking of words that kind of fit. You kind of have an idea of some kind of story or something that you want to say, but finding the actual specific way to say that, I think sometimes the phrases, like the musical phrasing, help.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I was at a question I was thinking about as far as the songwriting, because listening to your guys' stuff, it's how much of it is does it, like when you're telling a story, how much of it are you okay with it like being fictional, like somebody that would like write a movie or whatever? Obviously you can write, like a lot of stuff is personal or whatever, but then do you just take yourself to another spot, put yourself in somebody else's situation?
Totally. Okay. Yeah, everything. Yeah. It doesn't matter to me.
All the above.
Yeah.
Write a good song, right? Yeah. Okay.
I think that's great. It's that lets you get into a different type of creative space than just telling your own story,
Right.
Oh well, it's essential. I mean,
Yeah.
how like
Run
Bob
out of-
Dylan songs are all about Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
Right.
They-
Be some
they-
boring songs.
It wouldn't. Yeah.
I think Bob Dylan lived every single moment of that.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody writes songs that are just about themselves. I would, most songs that people write are not about themselves. I think on the grand, scheme of things, I think on a base level, you have to be able to connect
You're pulling from
a
your own
little bit of
experiences.
what you've experienced. But I mean, I think you're gonna run out of shit pretty quick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Rely on
Yeah.
writing songs about
So-
your own life.
They
So
like
once
a lot
you-
more boring than that.
Right.
Once you get it kind of fleshed out, what's the process look like in the once you get like the outline, I guess, not fleshed out. You said you bring it back to the band. And what's that kind of look like? You guys just get in a room and start like noodling around and say, "Oh, well, that direction sounds kind of cool," or
Yeah, basically.
Sometimes it's like we'll just be like in a living room or something. He'll start playing it, and we'll just kind of sit around listening to him and like start thinking about what our parts are going to be like, or what we envision this song sounding like. But then once we get into like a rehearsal setting and like we just kind of tear it all down. Like I think a lot of times when Graham brings it, obviously he's got like rhythm and like lyrics and stuff kind of outlined out, So there's like we're all pretty. We've played together and known each other for so long that it's like it's pretty automatic as to like we're all going to be kind of on the same page as to what like the first attempt at playing the song is going to be like. But once we do that, then we typically just like strip it all apart and like try just as many different things as possible, trying to figure out what feels right. There's certain songs that have gone through like an insane amount of iterations.
Yeah.
Like on the last record, there's a song called "Late Night Cigarette Talks" that Graham brought and that we all played before like the Rattlers was even formed.
Yeah, that's the oldest song we
That's
play.
the oldest song that we played.
What was that song called again?
Late Night Cigarette.
Late Night Cigarette Talks.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the oldest one that you guys.
Now it's like kind of
Pretty
like a live staple, honestly. Like people look forward to hearing that one.
yeah.
Not knowing that it predates the Rattler.
Yeah, the
Well-
rest of the songs are all kind of written, for. It was kind of like with the Rattlers, but for some reason that one kind of snuck its way onto the list.
Well, it's kind of and that's kind of the thing where when people hear it, they're like, "That's how it needed to be." That's the only way it could be. But like when you guys did it, it's like you've probably played so many versions of it to get there, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Like we were talking, like not being afraid on your first go around to say, "What can we do?" And it sounds like that's part of your process, really. Like make it one way, like let's try it another way.
Yeah, it's
Fine.
like, okay, that felt pretty good. Do we think we can do better?
Yeah.
We might be able to. Like,
Mm.
let's see if we can. Like,
Yeah.
try and find out. And it's a really cool feeling when you finally find the right one.
Mm.
'Cause sometimes it happens like by the second or third time we strip it down
Yeah.
and bring it back up. Sometimes it takes like we have to like leave it, come back like months later, try it again.
Sure.
And then all of a sudden, like when it happens, it's like this serious moment of like, obviously,
Right.
Yeah.
that's how it was
Right.
supposed to go.
Yeah.
That's when you know it's good.
Well, that's like a deep feeling too. Somehow, like you just
Yeah,
feel
somehow it
it.
hits you
Yeah,
hard,
yeah.
and you're like, that was it.
So that sort of touching on that a little bit, the passion, like when you find the right
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
With Steve and I were talking before about like just earlier when we were talking about this interview about things that we've gotten into and what was like an early passion. Like you guys all do music now, but were there other things that first made you feel like that you were a creator and that there was like
Like maybe you
a
didn't.
passion for something that really filled that?
Yeah, you
just
might
felt
not
right.
even understood the word what passion meant.
Right.
Why you like. But to me, it's like the passion is something that you want to do. Not necessarily looking. Yeah, the end result's rewarding or whatever, but you enjoy the process so much. For me, drawing was like just super early. I just got a pencil and paper, and I was like, I think you said earlier about writing. We were talking earlier in the day, actually,
Yeah.
Peter, about how you can put yourself in other worlds, right? And that's kind of
Yeah.
like what I just asked about the songwriting, I guess, about whether or not it's all personal or you just, create fiction.
Yeah,
So-
but for me, like writing was like I used to read novels and I loved like fiction and like other like science fiction or fantasy that's like world building, right?
Oh,
And then
yeah.
I was like, but like you can't ever go there. You can't go to
Physically go
yeah,
there, yeah.
Hogwarts. You can't like go to the Shire, right? So I was like, what's the next best thing I can do? I was, well, start writing things, right? And so that was like that draw that was like, oh, wow, this is really cool. And I've done different creative things that have always kind of attracted me, but you know, if there was something early on that was like, man, yeah, that like stoked your creativity and your mind for like being like, yeah, I want to do more of that.
I think even if it wasn't something that necessarily was creative driven, but just something where you felt like, I'm going to be the best hockey player ever.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I from about ages 5 to 10 or 11, I thought I was going to play in the NHL.
There you go.
Okay. Wow.
And you loved that game with all your heart at that time, right?
Yeah. And then I started listening to AC/DC, and that was way cooler.
Yeah, you're like, wait a second.
But yeah, no, so yeah, when I was a kid, I was all into hockey.
That's awesome.
Slap shots up against the garage door and all that fun stuff.
Everything.
Good
Yeah,
stuff.
that was it for me. And then started playing guitar.
Yeah. Haven't looked back since, huh?
What about you? Ideas?
I always drew when I was little.
Okay.
I would just get up in the morning before anybody else, start drawing in the morning. I don't know, kind of compulsive.
Yeah. I had the same syndrome.
That's
As
awesome.
a young kid, yeah. Which was pretty cool to have something that you didn't need the rest of the world for.
Oh,
It
yeah.
could occupy, like you said, your whole day.
That's a cool concept.
And I guess that feeds right into it. You'd have to be passionate about something, whether you know it or not.
And when you're 6 years old, you're not working up to something.
No.
You're just
You're just flowing.
You're just enjoying it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff. How about you, Tony?
Inline skating.
Inline.
Yeah.
My man.
There was a skate park. I live right next to the Winter Sports Park. If
Yep.
you fellow Petoskey people
Oh,
know
yeah.
where that's at.
Yeah.
And the skate park moved there for about maybe a year and a half. I
I
can't
remember
really.
it well.
Yeah,
I was there.
and they had a really sick quarter pipe.
Yep.
Yeah, basically a half pipe, but it was pretty spread out. And I learned how to drop in, and it was like game over. You know, you were like zipping all over as a 10-year-old.
I was over out by Curtis
Yeah.
Field yesterday, and they totally there's 3 times as much skateboarding
Yeah,
for now. as there
totally.
was.
Oh, that's a
Yeah,
big
it's
part
pretty
over
cool.
Then
there.
I got
I
into
still
like dirt
can't rip any
biking.
of
I
it.
just love jumping over shit. You
Okay,
know?
jumping
So,
shit, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So
That was a good
that's
time.
that.
Did you like with the inline skating? Did you get into like where you had like the skates that had the little slide bars for rails in the middle?
Correct. Well,
Correct,
actually,
that's what I thought.
actually, video
K2s,
games.
perhaps.
Also, like really into video games. Like Tony Hawk Pro Skater
Oh,
came
God,
out
yeah.
Oh,
then,
I
and
played
then
a
like
lot of that.
inline
Yeah.
skating came
On the
out for the
N64.
GameCube.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
forget
Oh,
about
yeah.
it. Forget about it.
Yeah,
Amazing.
we had a little inline skate gang, if you will, we'd like meet up at this local D3 college in the small town in Ohio I lived in, and we'd go from like dark until 1 a.m. Just end up all over town,
Exactly.
jumping off of stuff. Like you said, no point except for just to ride around and jump things. But anyways, yeah, I can get with that. You didn't know that about
Pretty
me.
badass. Wow.
How about you, Christian?
I mean, it's not.
Outside of piano.
It's not as cool as inline skating. It actually sounds incredibly dorky. First passion I realized that was like, this is passion without knowing the word passion.
Sure.
Was when you're a little kid and then you go in your room after like a crummy day and you have your stereo or your headphones and you just crank it up.
Oh,
Really
yeah.
loud, and I remember I would just feel awesome.
Yeah.
Like I would like
Yeah.
imagine myself like that was that person.
Yeah, you listen to the lyrics, you're like, that's right, I'm not going to do
damn
that.
right.
I am going to rebel.
That's awesome.
All right, I'll clean my room.
And I don't even remember what I was like listening to at the time or what, like, because it was so early on. I just remember that feeling of like you put the headphones on and it just felt awesome. And I think even now I recreate that just like when you're just driving by yourself and you just crank it all the way up.
Absolutely.
There's
It
a
sounds
like
so cliche and cheesy.
No,
but
not
it's
at
like-
all. It sounds like an
that-
80s movie kind of, a kid laying on his
that was
bed.
it. I
Like,
would
screw
just,
you,
like,
mom.
be
Click.
like in my it'd be like in my room. The
Twisted
door
Sister.
was locked and I'm just like running around my room with like the headphones.
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, I've been there.
It's like what is that? It's the Bad music video. Is that what it is with Macaulay Culkin?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
His
yeah.
dad's pounding on the ceiling or
Remember
whatever.
that
It's
one.
like, turn it. I think it's Michael Jackson video.
Yeah, but Macaulay Culkin's a kid.
Yeah. But I'm
Mhm.
saying it's. We're
Yeah, I
talking
think
about a Michael
Bad,
Jackson.
Oh,
though.
Bad.
Oh,
Bad.
I'm
Michael
sorry.
Jackson.
I thought you
Okay.
meant it was a horrible video.
Oh,
by
no,
saying-
no.
You're saying
No,
Michael
no,
Jackson
no,
bad.
no.
All right,
Yeah.
I'm with you
Song
now.
Bad.
I got you. Yeah.
Bad.
Oh, yeah.
Classic
Okay,
misunderstanding.
So I was Macaulay Culkin.
All right,
perfect.
Yeah.
we got it.
I don't think my parents were like yelling at me. I think whatever I was pissed off about was totally like in my own head.
Sure,
Like,
sure.
it wasn't actually a real thing for anyone to be mad
I
about.
thought you were going to say Guitar Hero.
Oh shit. Okay. Hold on.
Look, we gotta back it up.
All right, well, I'm caught in the act. All right, yes. When I was in whatever year Guitar Hero 1 came out, I got that game for PlayStation 2 for Christmas. And I beat the whole game like on all 4 levels, like in the same like 3 days.
Wow.
Game. And I became so obsessed with it that by the time Guitar Hero 3, Legends of Rock, the best one.
Solid.
Hands down the best one, by the way. Play actions.
I'll take your word for it.
It's unbelievable. I pre-ordered it. Well, I didn't pre-order. My mom paid for me to pre-order it before it came out. And on the day it came out and it arrived at the door, I was in 7th grade, and my mom so graciously let me stay home from school.
That's a good mom.
Wow.
Play
That's a good mom.
Guitar Hero 3
Yeah.
all day because it was such like a big deal to me.
Heck yeah.
She
That's
recognized
awesome.
the passion.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
There's one of the
pretty
permission
rare.
people right there.
I used to
Let
get
me stay
video
home.
games and just like carry the box around at school and think about going home to play it. So that's great.
I got so deep into like that style of like video games that like in between Guitar Heroes that would come out, I would play like the other ones. Like my brother got an Xbox 360 one year.
Other
And they had
versions.
Rock Band for that.
Oh,
So I was
yeah.
like, okay,
Yeah.
this is knock off Guitar Hero, but I'm still gonna beat it.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm
Still
gonna beat it on
dominate.
all the instruments.
So you're like state champion Guitar Hero,
Yeah.
basically.
I would have been all state.
All
Guitar
state.
Hero.
Can you play acoustic?
Acoustic Guitar
Just a
Hero.
bunch of clicks.
Yeah.
Click, click, click.
Can you play John the Fisherman on Expert Pro?
That's good.
That's what
All
I'm
right.
passionate about.
That's good passion.
I like it,
That's
man.
good.
It's all good stuff.
Well, what do you think, Steve? Did you have any other questions?
Man, I don't know. I think we covered quite a bit. Anything you guys wanted to touch on while we have you here? Anything you want to get off your chest?
Confessions.
That's pretty good.
Good. Well, we wanted to finish with a cheers because that's what we're about here. So, I don't know if you still got beer. Let's pour it in a glass.
I'm gonna need to
Otherwise,
crack
grab
another one.
another one.
I still
Might
got
as well grab a little.
Oh, I do love these.
There's another D.
Is there another D?
Oh, yeah.
No, I think they're going there.
We got one over here. We got a D's over there, Steve.
Awesome. Pulling it in.
Dang.
And you shall receive.
Oh, love that. Fresh crack.
Fresh crack.
Into the microphone.
Oh, you might even get to hear all that.
Yeah, I hope so.
All right, gentlemen. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah.
And it's been a real pleasure, and look forward to some more hangs in the future.
Yeah,
Oh,
cheers,
yeah.
cheers, guys.
Cheers to your craft.
Yeah. Here's the music. Oh, that's tasty.
Yeah.
That's good.
Hey, it's Michigan Rattlers here. We've been hanging out in Nashville, Tennessee at the House of Blues Studios, working on record number 2.
Just want to give a quick shout out to Peter, Steve, and Struve and the whole crew at Beards Brewery. Had a ton of fun shooting the What's Your Craft video with those guys.
So check out this video of Sweet Diane.
Sweet Diane, where you wanna go tonight? I haven't left the house all day. And how about I take you out tonight? Well, if you ain't got no money, it's okay. 'Cause I buy you all the beer you wanna drink, and I'll take you anywhere you wanna go. And you ain't gotta call me by my name if you don't want to. Just open up the door and we'll hit the road. Well, I know you've been lonely for a while, ever since your husband went away. And no one ever plans for things like that. not until you're leaving flowers on the grave. So I'll buy you all the beer you want to drink, and I'll take you anywhere you want to go. And you ain't gotta call me by my name if you don't want to. Just open up the door, we'll hit the road. Yeah, we'll hit the road. It's nearly closing time at the Mustang Lounge, but I think I saw you smile once tonight. But it ain't ever gonna feel the same when that sun shines, yet it still rains. And so I buy